Hello, I'm a license plate collector, and in this video, I'm rating the current license plates of the US from worst to best. I'm a member of the Automobile License Plate Collectors Association. I'm using plates that are the standard issue or issues for each state. Some states have more than one standard issue for motorists to choose from, and in these cases I rated each of them and then came up with an aggregate rating so that there are still 51 ratings overall. However, I am excluding the no fee in God We Trust plates that some states have. Alright, let's get into it. Number 51, California. It pains me to put my home state last, but that's where I think it deserves. A state so rich in diversity and geography deserves a better plate than this. The boring base started in 1993 and for a few years added the sesquicentennial slogan. In 2012, the state made the silly decision to add the state's DMV website to the bottom. This serves no practical purpose other than reminding people how much they hate going to the DMV. Number 50, Kentucky. The bluegrass state has two standard issues. The main one came out in 2021 and was not too different than the previous base. The map takes on more prominence without the flair to justify that decision, and the fonts are nothing special. The Team Kentucky option is an improvement insofar as it adds a bed of bluegrass as well as clouds to the sky. The slogan is used by the Cabinet for Economic Development and is meant to promote unification and pushing the state forward during this country's hard times, but would anyone out of state have an idea what it means? Number 49, Oklahoma. The background of this plate includes a silhouette of a scissor-tailed flycatcher, the state bird, but the way it is rendered it's not immediately obvious. The bird is just too big, and with the light blue background makes it look like the Twitter logo. Number 48, Virginia. Virginia has a long history of plain general issue plates, and their latest failed to change that history. The slogan, "Virginia is for lovers," has been a tourism slogan in use since 1969. It's not a terrible idea to include it on a plate, but it needs more adornment than just a heart. Number 47, Washington, D.C. All D.C. plates since 1986 have been the same basic plate, with just the slogan and font changed every so often. The slogan makes the plate a political plea, which I'm not in favor of, and though there is an option for one with a governmental website, that's just not interesting. Number 46, Montana. I appreciate what Montana wanted to do here, a retro look which incorporates a slogan last used in the 1960s with a simple two-color scheme last seen in the 1970s. But the plate lacks character, and the dash and the number 10 is unnecessary since it's revalidated with stickers. Number 45, Texas. The Lone Star State also attempted to go retro here, or at least move away from the more colorful, busy two bases that preceded it. For me, it doesn't elicit a feeling, exhibit state pride, nor make me want to visit. Any good plate should do at least some of these things. Number 44, New Jersey. This plain plate is a bit better than most as plain plates go. It has an eye-pleasing tone and a state map graphic. The boring serial font and the overly thick font for the slogan are detriments. Number 43, South Dakota. South Dakota's recently introduced base features a full-plate graphic of Mount Rushmore. The appearance is similar to the previous two bases, but more than ever those great faces are largely obscured. The state has featured a Mount Rushmore graphic since the 1950s, and it would be nice for the state to take a break from it altogether. The slogan promises more places which aren't included in the design. Number 42, Mississippi. The basic concept of Mississippi's gold base is alright. The inclusion of the phrase, "In God We Trust," has made this plate a talking point as it is the first standard issue plate to include that terminology. Some, including myself, find it problematic. Number 41, Florida. There's a happy theme to this plate but too much green, and I say that even though green is my favorite color. Similar to California, the website is just a governmental one, so to have it in that large letters seems out of place. Number 40, Delaware. Delaware has been running the same plate for 53 years and counting. I like the color scheme, but after 5 decades the time for a new design has long since passed. Also, the use of all numbers makes it a little less interesting. Number 39, Massachusetts. Massachusetts has rarely put any kind of embellishment on its standard issue. In fact, its only use of a graphic image was brief and nearly 100 years ago. And their current plate has the first usage of a slogan. The red, white, and blue color scheme fits in with the slogan, which is printed in a really nice, scripted font. However, a graphic to accompany it would be a welcome addition. Number 38, Pennsylvania. This plate works just fine, with the familiar Keystone graphic and blue and yellow colors, all elements of many Pennsylvania plates for nearly the last century. There are minor quibbles beyond that, such as the numbers being a different size than the letters. Ultimately, it could have more character. Number 37, Connecticut. Connecticut is very similar to New Jersey's in that it has one shaded color from top to bottom, a state map, the state name on the top, and the slogan on the bottom. Where it differs is the use of embossed dies, which are naturally more appealing, and a more proportional size and thickness of the state name and slogan. Number 36, West Virginia. Recently, West Virginia switched from a 6-character plate to a 7-character plate and added a state map in the center. The map improved this long-time base, but with a slogan like, "Wild, wonderful, you want more." It does succeed in its use of color coordination and alternating use of lines, and the slogan is catchy. My colleague Emma will continue the countdown.
Number 35, Georgia. The current base features multiple peaches, a large peach tree, and the return of the slogan, Peach State, after a more than 40-year hiatus. It's an attractive plate overall, but it must be weighed together with an alternate base that is simply black on white with one large peach in the middle. The quality of the peach graphic is better here than on the other plate, but it is obscured by the cereal. Number 34, Iowa. Iowa's plate is rendered with an almost childlike quality. The silhouettes incorporate the country and city life, paired with fluffy light green grass. It would do better to ditch the dark green and light blue background behind the rectangle containing all the information and aforementioned graphics, as it looks like a plate that has been minimized and put atop another plate. Still, it has a unique overall appeal. Number 33, Michigan. The Pure Michigan branding has a cool stylized M, and although I'm not sure about the slogan itself and do not care for any websites on plates, at least the site is simple and kept in relatively small font. What I like about this plate is the blue wave at the bottom and the dies used for the cereal. Number 32, South Carolina. The palmetto, the state tree of South Carolina, and the state motto, "While I breathe, I hope," mark this aesthetically pleasing and symmetrically laid out plate. I prefer the previous base much more, which has some of the same elements but includes more color. Number 31, Rhode Island. Rhode Island's new wave plate is an evolution of the long-running 1996 base. It retains the slogan Ocean State and the anchor, both of which go back decades. This new plate changes one large wave to 5 smaller waves, each representing a county in the state. Despite these and other changes, the overall concept is hardly new, so Rhode Island missed an opportunity. Number 30, Tennessee. There have been criticisms about this plate that it's too busy, and you can see why. There's a web address on top of a county name, a state shape around the state name, a slogan crammed into the upper left corner, a state flag emblem separator, and a double border. It's a lot, but I do think it mostly works. Tennessee has long used a state shape on their plates, and they should. How many state shapes can so perfectly fit a state name like Tennessee? The color scheme is nice too. These at least partially offset the crowdedness. Number 29, Arizona. A lovely desert scene is the distinction of the Arizona base. The plate debuted in 1996, but back then it only had 6 characters and it was embossed. The digital font is unappealing and seems to override the rest of the plate's characters. Without these changes, I'd place this design in the top 15 for sure. Number 28, Arkansas. Arkansas introduced this base in 2006, and overall it is a good one. The diamond is there because the state has the only public diamond mining facility in the country. The graphic fits in perfectly with the slogan. Number 27, Colorado. Colorado's nice-looking plate incorporates a mountain background, which is no surprise for the Rocky Mountain state. The state has long used a green and white color scheme and has shied away from slogans. So while there's nothing really negative about this design, it's time for a change after 23 years. Number 26, Vermont. It's been a long time since Vermont replated, and an even longer time since it did not use the 2-color scheme of green and white. What makes this plate unique is the combination of screen characters, embossed characters, and a debossed rectangle around the cereal. Number 25, New Hampshire. New Hampshire's plate has a full graphic of the Old Man of the Mountain, the state's most well-known landmark. Though the Old Man unfortunately collapsed a few years after this plate debuted, the state has kept it as the standard base. It's a good graphic and I like the colors and the creative use of the state name. I'm not really a fan of using the "Live Free or Die" motto on a license plate. Number 24, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's plate has a graphic that incorporates farmland as well as the coasts of the Great Lakes. This is the third iteration of a design that debuted in the mid-1980s. A totally fresh design is in order, but as it features graphics about the state's geography, a slogan, and is clean and legible. Number 23, Louisiana. The state bird of Louisiana, the eastern brown pelican, gets a somewhat faded look here, yet fits in nicely with the background colors. The size and placement work well and the pier pile is a great addition. Overall it's appealing, but the slogan for me is a turnoff. Number 22, Nebraska. Nebraska's new plate features a graphic inspired by the mosaic entitled "Genius of Creative Energy," which can be found on the floor of the state capitol. The rectangle allows the state name to stand out better than if the graphic filled up the entire plate. It's an attractive design with smart color choices. Number 21, Kansas. Kansas's plate features the upper part of the state seal in white and a pleasant shade of light blue. It includes an array of stars and a shining sun, as well as the state motto, "Ad astra per aspera," which means to the stars through difficulty. This is a great-looking plate, though it was better in the original iteration, which had embossed characters and both the serial and state name in dark blue. Let's go back to Brian.
Thanks, Emma. Number 20, Washington. Washington's plate has a great graphic of Mount Rainier. It debuted in the late 1980s with a little different look. The colors of this plate are pleasing, and my only suggestion would be to add a matching tree line. Number 19, Minnesota. Minnesota has a winning design that properly recognizes the slogan of Land of 10,000 Lakes. A light blue bar at the top is modeled into a lake with trees and a canoe. The website is used creatively at least. This plate originated in 1978, and though it is still appealing, it might be time for a new design. Number 18, North Carolina. North Carolina motorists have two "Non in God We Trust" bases to choose from. The main plate is the first in-flight design, which was first issued in 1982. I've always liked this plate, especially the wavy blue field, the placement of the plane, and the stylized lettering of the state name. The other option, the First in Freedom plate, celebrates documents signed in North Carolina which foreshadowed the Declaration of Independence. I do like the quill pen, but feel other colors or fonts could have been used to distinguish it more from the main base. And the slogan could use a little more context. Number 17, Wyoming. This very colorful plate displays the rugged, natural beauty of the state perfectly. The photorealistic background and the rope border give it a distinction amongst other plates, and the state name is displayed very well. The bucking bronco image has appeared on every Wyoming standard plate since 1936. I wouldn't want the streak to end, but I do think it fails to mesh with this plate's background, compared to some previous issues. Number 16, Oregon. Oregon's use of outlines and balance make a wonderful graphic plate, which has been on the roads for 3 decades now. It showcases Oregon's natural elements and is instantly recognizable from a distance. Number 15, Nevada. The Home Means Nevada slogan is an unusual one for sure, but somehow for the state it really works. And I like the multicolored mountains. They stand out much more than the mountains on the previous base. Honestly, it's kind of difficult to explain why I like this plate so much, but I just do. Number 14, Illinois. Illinois has had Land of Lincoln on their plates since 1954, though it took until 2001 to have an image of the former president on a plate. This plate debuted in 2016 and got creative by depicting him off to the side with a cityscape and farm components. With a dark red serial and use of capital letters, this is a bold, attractive plate worthy of the top 20. Number 13, Alaska. Alaska currently offers 3 standard bases. The longest running of these is the flag base, which originated back in 1981 and has had several minor variations over the years. This straightforward design is effective, displaying the unique state flag and having appealing dyes with a good color scheme. In 2015, the state introduced this alternate, featuring a standing brown bear, sunrise, and snowy foreground. It's an update to the outstanding 1976 U.S. bicentennial base. It's probably unfair to judge this base against its predecessor. This is a case of it being impossible to have a sequel measure up to the original. Lastly, this arts base was entered into the mix. It's a very attractive plate which features the northern lights, rugged, snow-capped mountains, and a silhouetted forest. The slogan, Alaska Artistic License, is a bit odd, but is printed light enough that it doesn't distract from the graphics. Number 12. Hawaii. Hawaii's is fairly simple, a graphic of a rainbow and a traditional slogan. Interestingly, the rainbow leaves out the colors green and violet and makes little use of orange. The emphasis on primary colors blends well, however, and the rainbow is an appropriate choice given its importance to Hawaiian mythology and culture. It fits the naturally happy tone of a slogan which speaks of love, warm greetings, and peace. Number 11. Missouri. Missouri's 2019 base includes a large image of the state seal in the center and two wavy banners at the top and bottom signifying the importance of rivers to Missouri's history and geography. I love the look of this plate with solid choices of color and graphics and an overall appearance which conveys state pride in an eye-pleasing manner. Alright, time for the top 10, Emma.
Thanks, Brian. I'll count down the next 5. Number 10. Ohio. The Sunrise in Ohio base plate debuted in December 2022. This is a beautiful plate which incorporates both city and rural themes with the flyer to accompany the birthplace of aviation slogan, details like a child on the swing with the dog at the child's feet, and the state name placed creatively in a state map. The Wright brothers were born in Ohio. It is there they really developed their flyer, which was eventually flown in North Carolina to give that state's claim of first in flight. Ohio is also home to several astronauts, including Neil Armstrong. Number 9. Maine. Maine displays both its state bird and its state tree on a plate which has ruled the roads for the last couple of decades. I like the graphics in their detail, vividness, and placement, the font for the state name and for the slogan, and the overall complement of colors. Maine has several stunning wildlife specialty plates, but those choosing the standard option cannot go wrong. Number 8. Indiana. Indiana is the first U.S. plate to put a covered bridge on its license plate. While not a monumental achievement, I find it a cool addition, and the plate continues the long history of memorable graphic plates that started in the mid-1970s. Number 7. New Mexico. Like Alaska, New Mexico has 3 colorful standard options. The oldest of these is the red-on-yellow plate with the yucca plant and turquoise banner. The center contains the Zia symbol, which has adorned New Mexico plates for many decades. The turquoise base was introduced in 2010 to commemorate the statehood centennial. In its original version, it contained an accompanying slogan on the top with the familiar Land of Enchantment underneath the state name. The plates were popular enough that they continued on well after the centennial year concluded and were redesigned in their current form in 2016. This is a really beautiful plate, retaining the usual red and yellow which has been used on almost every plate for more than half a century, while showcasing turquoise, which is synonymous with the state. Lastly, there is the chili plate. This has also proved a popular option and is the first plate to celebrate the chili. If you visit the state, you'll see all these great options and colors mixed together. Great fun for license plate enthusiasts. Number 6. Maryland. Maryland's unique flag totally works for this design compared to how most other states' flags would look. Enough is shown to give the plate a bold and colorful appearance, but without compromising the cereal. The state name is also stylish. This plate really exhibits state pride and does so simply and elegantly. Okay, Brian, let's hear the top 5.
Thanks, Emma. Alright, the top 5 starts now. Number 5. Idaho. Idaho has had this plate for about 30 years now, yet in my mind it hasn't lost its shine since its debut. That crimson sky and shades of blue below complement each other beautifully, and I like the scenic slogan prefix to the state name. Since it's scripted and the state name is all caps and italicized, it stands out while not being obtrusive. This plate looks great both up close and from a distance, and it will be hard to be matched going forward. Number 4. North Dakota. In 2015, North Dakota introduced this lovely ode to its environment. A large bison stands in the lower right corner, a detailed sunset settles behind buttes, and 2 wheat stalks frame the state name and the slogan legendary. The usual Peace Garden state slogan, which has appeared on every plate since the 1950s, is moved to the lower left corner. This is a stunning design and it speaks to the state's history as well as its present. The state name font and smart color choices are also keys to its success. Number 3. Utah. Utah has two standard, "Non in God We Trust" bases. The delicate arch design gives the unique monument the full graphic treatment it deserves. This plate is an evolution of one that celebrated the statehood centennial. In 2008, the state dropped the slogan and gave it the tourism branding Life Elevated and modified the state name. The delicate arch looks fabulous against the layered background of dark orange, white, and light blue. The other primary option is the skier base. This too is an evolution of a prior design, although in this case it is completely different than its predecessor. The plate features a real-life person, Olympic skier, and Utah resident Heidi Volker. The full plate graphic of a ski slope is combined with a red-brown banner of petroglyphs and features the double slogan of Life Elevated and Greatest Snow on Earth, the latter of which appeared on the original ski base. Both are strong statements about state history and geography and done with great style. Number 2. New York. This plate, which debuted in 2020, includes graphics of Niagara Falls, the Statue of Liberty, the Manhattan skyline, and hills. At the bottom is the state motto, Excelsior, which means ever upward. In addition to the powerful message that rolls off the tongue nicely, it's printed in yellow with a thin light blue border, making it stand out without overstepping the state name. The map and the dies are great touches. The plate has a clean, balanced design and exhibits a great deal of state pride. And finally, my number 1. Alabama. This absolutely gorgeous plate features a beach scene and incorporates a tourism website and the standard Heart of Dixie slogan and heart graphic. A yellow sky is unconventional, but it evokes happiness and complements the rest of the scenery very well. The fence and the umbrella seem to literally invite you to walk down to the beach as the sun begins its slow descent below the horizon. It squeezes in a lot of detail, such as the seabird in the upper left portion and the tufts of grass on the lower right, without making it look cluttered. The website is a smart addition since the plate has a very tourism-centric design. In this case, I'm forgiving of the plain font due to the plate's overall attractiveness and legibility. So there you have it. The current standard plates of all 50 states plus DC ranked. Thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up if you like this video and check out our website licenseplateroom.com.